Eddie Chambers, you wouldn't mind seeing him against?
The reason why I'm picking Eddie Chambers over all because Eddie Chambers...
He lost to Povetkin recently, that's the only loss, that's not a terrible loss.
But he didn't embarrass himself, and I think like if he'd have worked harder, I think maybe he could have been a little bit overruled by being at that stage and being around so many Europeans.
Fighting in Europe,
yeah. Yeah, fighting in Europe. Very skillful fighter. Reason why I like David Haye against him, because he's not the biggest of heavyweights. He's like 217. Got quick hands.
Wouldn't you fancy someone with quick hands against David Haye though?
No, because the reason why, because I reckon David Haye could learn a lot from this fight.
Yeah. If
he fought somebody like Eddie Chambers, I think that'd be a good fight for David Haye. Eddie Chambers is nice teeth, got beautiful movement. That fight there, so you could gauge David a little bit. Everyone's talking about jumping into the deep end straight away. Yeah, he could say, I'm gonna fight a top 10 fighter, and he can pick. No disrespect, but you look in the top 10.
It's easy pickings, isn't it? There is easy. But we know Adam Booth and David Haye, that's not the way they do it. That's not the way they've ever done it. You don't fight Cole Thompson, you're allowed to fight if you're looking for easy pickings.
David Haye relishes the challenge.
But there's two guys who we'd like to see him against.
James Toney.
One James Toney, we'll get to him in a second. David Tua. He's not in the top 10, so they probably won't go there, and they'll use that maybe as an excuse because you're not sure whether Adam would want him against David Tua, would you?
I think it's a sexy fight for the simple fact that David Tua has got a granite jaw. You know what I mean? David Tua's got a granite jaw, and he always seems to just grit it out in the last 2 rounds to try and stop guys. And I think for fight entertainment, for fight value, David Haye versus David Tua would be a brilliant fight.
It would be a classic fight.
Because the simple fact that David Tua, if you look at David, the guys that give David Haye trouble are the little short swat guys, the Fragamellis of this world, the little short teeth guys, the Mormex, yeah, those kind of rounded off shoulder guys with throwing hooks. Those are the guys who give David Haye trouble. That's why David Haye ain't gonna touch him, and he will use the excuse that, you know what, at the end of the day, he's not in the top 10. Not saying that as an excuse like David's scared, because I know David ain't scared of no one. But
he doesn't need the fight, does he?
Don't need it. So, but I'd love to see that fight.
I would love as well. But James Toney, I think that's the one we'd like. You've got the name. David Haye talks about fat bums. He's fat, but he's not a no bum by any stretch of imagination. Hall of Famer.
Most definitely. James Toney at this present moment is the most technically gifted and worked on technician in the game of boxing. And I think David Haye up against someone like James Toney who would learn the fundamentals even better. But David Haye's fundamentally sound anyway. The things that he does in boxing, fundamentally sound. But he can learn so much from that fight. But
he's not going to fight anyone with Tony's skills, is he, in the heavyweight division?
No, he isn't. But even though Tony's he's getting on in age, I think that'd be an excellent fight for David Haye because James Toney's a sexy, it's a juicy fight. He's got a sexy kind of style. And also I think that James Toney could rattle David a lot at the press conference. I think that'd be a lot of fun as well. We need to sell this thing, we need drama.
And they do, I mean they're having it at the O2, they need to sell it, they need someone who's going to provide entertainment.
I think James Toney's the right guy.
Robotic Eastern European.
I think, listen, let me tell you this. I think David Haye's been marketed all wrong in the first place. That's my opinion, and I've told it to him, so it's not like I'm right. Yeah. So I think it's going to be very, very difficult to sell the O2. You know what I mean? It's going to be hard. No one can't turn around and say, it's going to be hard, it's going to be difficult. So you give us a sexy fight and people turn out. We had David Haye, Enzo, everyone turned out for that. Why? Not because of David Haye particularly, no, not because of Enzo, because it was 2 guys that created drama and it was...
The public didn't know who was going to win, that's the thing.
Exactly, like a magnet.
Some of us knew.
Yeah, exactly. Well, we won't go into that one. But yeah, so, and we came out to go and see that and we want to go see it. So we got to give David Haye a sexy fight. Don't shortchange the public. Alright? Don't go out and pick a guy who's in the top 10, but we know you're going to blapse him. Give us something where we got intrigue to it, so we can say, yeah, but what if this and what if that? Give us a what if.
So let's go top 3 then, with James Toney 1,
James Toney,
David Tua 2, Galata 3?
Nah, I'd say Fast Eddie Chambers. For purists of boxing sides, I'll say Fast Eddie Chambers, because I don't think that you can just walk out and bang him over straight away. You'd have to work to earn the knockout if you were to get the knockout. And plus we can use it to gauge yourself against Povetkin, who in my eyes will beat Klitschko when they meet later on this year.